Hello everyone, part 2 of Tinto Flavour 39 about England and Great Britain. This is where we finished last time, and probably this is the last video of that sort because I will release it on 4th of November. So I guess that on 5th we will actually see some actual gameplay. So yeah, I'm really glad to say that. I'm really happy. I'm really looking forward for it. So let's quickly go through the remainder of that Tinto Flavour. But before I start, I would like to ask again, so if you dislike my videos, please tell me in the comments why. This is immensely valuable. I can learn something from you. I can improve if it's, doable for me. But I'm really curious why you dislike. That's gonna be immensely helpful. I like likes, let's say. They say something. It means that your voice is, let's say, acceptable by many different groups, but actually you can learn much more from dislikes. So that's why I'm asking you for comments. Tell me why you don't like it, what was wrong, maybe audio, maybe my opinion, maybe something else. Just tell me. I'm gonna be really grateful. Okay, without further ado, let's continue with reminder of that Tinto Flavour. So, and some more structural content, the conditions for the creation of Great Britain, formal country. Great Britain is tier 3. I guess there are also tier 4 countries, I'm not sure. So, there are some preconditions. The 100 Years' War situation has ended. We must either destroy Scotland or make them our subject. We must either destroy Wales or make them our subject. We must either destroy Balliol or make them our subject. That's pretty simple. And also these are provinces, locations we have to have either by subjecting them or simply conquering and annexing. Okay, form Great Britain. Possible advances: warbows, longbowmen, reformed longbowmen and Royal Navy, Secretaries of State and Royal Scots Navy. Ooh, Royal Scots Navy. Sounds cool. The Eltham Ordinance and tighten up Royal Revenue. By the way, this is curious. So, warbows are part of Great Britain? I think they are part of England. Same as longbowmen and reformed longbowmen, so I'm not sure about that. The Sick and Herd Board, English Bill of Rights, the Navigation Acts, Inigo Architecture, Blake Sailing and Fighting Instructions, Coke Smelting, and Act of Revocation. Alright, Redcoats, Experimental Riflemen, Rulers of the Waves, and Water Frame. These are advances which are provided by forming Great Britain. By uniting our political development domestically and extending our influence beyond our borders, we will be able to reinforce our position in world affairs and transform into one of the foremost European powers, the British Empire. It is not possible to choose Great Britain due to, and there are different aspects we have to deal with. As you can see, we need to own at least 41 more locations based on that number. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. As we have shown in the Tinto Flavour for Castile and Spain, there will be several dozen dynamic variants for the British flag, depending on which part of Britain are part of it, age, the country, rank, etc. That's cool. That's really cool. That these flags can look differently every playthrough. That's super cool. That adds another element to replayability of the game. It's really nice. Okay, let's continue. Let's now take a look at the narrative content for England and Great Britain. The most important one early in the game is obviously the 100 Years' War situation, of which we talked in depth into a Tinto Talk some months ago. France demands Sir Robert d'Artois. So we have a courtier, Sir Robert d'Artois, and King Edward III. The King of France has demanded that we return Sir Robert d'Artois, blah blah blah. This is the event, and based on that event, some other situations will trigger. We can either defy the French king and make preparations to invade France, or the current status quo must be respected. Surrender Sir Robert. That's it. Pretty cool, by the way. Can we though avoid 100 Years' War? Is that even possible, even if we surrender Sir Robert? That's a good question. Okay, what's next? The Crown of France. The Hundred Years' War was a long and brutal conflict between England and France that lasted from 1337 to 1453, so that's a bit more than 100 years. It started when the English king claimed the French crown, arguing his right through his mother's bloodline, while the French rejected this under their own laws. Both sides already had overlapping territories in France, which only fueled the fire. What followed was a prolonged on and off war filled with battles, betrayals, and shifting alliances that dragged on for over a century and shifted the geopolitical landscape of all of Western Europe forever. We are the rightful king of France. There is no option to select, so I believe that's gonna trigger a 100 Years War. By the way, I highly recommend the battles description by King's Marché. That's how that channel is called on YouTube. I really like their videos, especially the ones about the 30 Years War or the War of Austrian Succession. Actually, about Austrian Succession, there's only one battle available now. I might be wrong, but I think so. Battle of Fontenoy? Was that of Austrian Succession? Not entirely sure. Spain? I don't know. Either way, I highly recommend it. We've been working the past few weeks in a new overview and visuals for the situation panels. What do you think of it? Let's take a closer look at that picture. What is it? There is a 100 Years War. There are some actions, by the way. Influence French subject, procure core claim, request war entry, sign a truce, request papal delegates. Okay, that gives a lot of options to consider while waging that war or that situation. I think we should call it more of a situation than just war. Besides it, we have plenty of events for the early game. This is the early game event, by the way. The Order of the Garter. Not gonna read it, but look at that. How many options are available? Order of the Garter. What is it, by the way? The Order of the Garter, or Garter, prestigious and illustrious institution, stands as a symbol of the realm's highest ideals, transcending time and uniting great people of diverse backgrounds and talents, whether comprising of the monarch's favorites, esteemed foreign dignitaries, devout members of the clergy, gifted artisans, or valiant warriors in need. This venerable order embodies the pinnacle of nobility and virtue. Ooh, sounds cool. Appoint the king's closest companions, exalt foreign nobles, establish our spiritual leaders. No. Sponsor the arts. No. Honor destitute veterans. Well, yeah. Okay, cool. Very cool. The Ordinance of Laborers, that's another event, but there's a historical background for it. The Ordinance of Laborers was a law passed in 1349 as a direct result of the labor shortages caused by the Black Death. Oh yeah, there is a Black Death in game, and it's absolutely devastating as far as I know. The intended goal was to regulate wages and prevent workers from leaving their homes in search of better paying work elsewhere, which was perceived as an opportunity to improve one's economic and social standing. The ordinance also reinforced the existing feudal system, but ultimately failed to enforce the wage regulations and was eventually repealed. You can issue it or no intervention is necessary. Cool. Let's move forward. That increases the power of who? Nobility? Possibly? Or is it the crown? No, that's a nobility. Geoffrey Chaucer. That's a historical character. Is it? Yeah. I'm glad there is no 3D model of him. Wow, it makes it so much better. So Geoffrey Chaucer is best known for his iconic work The Canterbury Tales, which is considered one of the most important literary works in the English language. His works contributed to the standardization of the English language and its transition from Old to Middle English. As a civil servant, he held several positions throughout his life, including diplomat. This position allowed him to travel and experience different cultures, which had a profound effect on his writings. We can invite him to court, have him teach at Oxford, or have him teach at Cambridge. There is a difference between two. Cool. Alright, I'm usually more interested in military stuff, but that's also, yeah, quite intriguing. You can learn something new. The Canterbury Tales, there's another... Oh, that's related with Geoffrey Chaucer, and unfortunately, we can see his 3D model now. That's much better, look at that. Oh lord. Why? I know, I'm repeating myself. It is what it is. So the Canterbury Tales were created by Geoffrey Chaucer, a poet and philosopher residing in England during the 14th century. They are written in Middle English, which was the language of the common people at the time. I guess I wouldn't be able to understand that Middle English right now. I was reading a book by Rick Atkinson, I believe, and he tended to use some old English words, and believe me, I wasn't able to even Google them. Sometimes it took me like 30 minutes to find out about a single word. That was so hard. I had to find in some very specific old English dictionaries. That was crazy, just to find out about a single word. So yeah, that was the pain to read that book, but in general, the book is great. I mean, most of the books of Rick Atkinson's are pretty solid. Okay, Chaucer intended to write 120 tales, with each pilgrim having 2 tales. However, the work only contains a total of 24. Oh well, he was ambitious, definitely, as developers of that game. And nevertheless, the characters and storytelling techniques remain a source of inspiration and continues to be studied. Find us a copy of his previous work published. Alright, and War of the Roses, that's something I've been waiting for. A unique disaster may trigger in the 1400s, related to the fight for the throne of the House of Lancaster and York. Look at that graphic, it's absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, love it. Okay, there is no historical background though, it's sad. I would like to read something about it. I believe it may be, the background might be provided in some different event related with War of the Roses. There's only decision which house we want to support. Court of the Star Chamber. And there is actually a historical background. The Court of Star Chamber emerged from the meetings of the King's Privy Council, gradually gaining significance during the reign of Henry VII. Its name originated from the star pattern adorning the ceiling of Westminster Palace, where it convened. In 1487, the court was established as a distinct judicial body, separate from the council, tasked with hearing petitions for redress. An integral tool, common law will suffice. Cool, okay, that's another option, changing something, we don't know what. Here we have Court of the Star Chamber, that increases the crown power by 10%, monthly control plus 0.10%, and some other stuff. The Court of the Star Chamber handles cases considered too sensitive or complex for regular courts, ranging from perjury to conspiracy. While known for its efficiency, the court faces criticism for potential abuses of power, lack of due process, and being used as a political tool, like always, like in every country. And next we have another personality, William Shakespeare, quite well known. Fortunately, we had to read his, I don't know, poems. Yeah, that wasn't a great reading. Oh my god, there is so many related with him. Do I want to read it though? I don't think so. I'm not truly, actually. Okay, let's stay professional. Let's read it. English poet, dramatist, and actor William Shakespeare is often called the English national poet and considered by many to be the greatest dramatist of all time. His plays, written in the late 16th and early 17th centuries for a small repertory theatre, are now performed and read more often in more countries than ever before. The prophecy of his great contemporary, the poet and dramatist Ben Jonson, Shakespeare was not of an age but for all time, has been fulfilled. And then next we have the Globe Theatre. I assume this is, what? A building or what? The original Globe Theatre was a playhouse in London, famously associated with William Shakespeare and his theatrical productions. It was originally built in 1599 but was destroyed in a fire in 1613, only to be rebuilt the following year. It was located in the Bankside district of London, just outside the city limits, with theatres not being allowed within the city walls at that time. Okay. I'm wondering whether there is a disaster like the big fire, I mean the Great Fire of London. Curious. There is another one, Romeo and Juliet. It's still related with William Shakespeare. One of William Shakespeare's most famous and enduring plays, Romeo and Juliet, is considered a masterpiece of world literature. It is believed to have been written in his early career between 1591 and 1596 and remained the most popular play performed during his lifetime. At last, a happy ending. Of course. Yeah, well, not a huge fan, of course. It is what it is. Rise of the Parliamentarians. What is it? That's 17th century? Oh, there's another English civil war. Okay. This is a disaster, I guess. That might be something interesting. The English Civil War, 1642-1651, stemmed from conflicts between King Charles I and the Parliament over royal authority, taxation, and religious reforms. Charles' autocratic rule, dismissal of procedures, and imposition of unpopular policies fueled widespread discontent. The war pitted royalists, supporters of the monarchy, against parliamentarians advocating constitutional governance. It resulted in the execution of Charles I, the abolition of the monarchy, and the establishment of the Commonwealth under Oliver Cromwell. Ultimately, the conflict reshaped English political structure, weakening the monarchies, and blah blah blah. We can't continue. Alright, so this is a disaster for England. Wow, that's terrifying. Look at that, manpower minus 33%, that's huge. Monthly war exhaustion plus 0.20. Pop join rebels threshold plus 15%. And actually I'm curious, so is that possible to actually win that civil war on the side of the crown? Growing tensions between the crown and parliament over power and governance are threatening to overwhelm the entire country. The rulers' belief in divine right, the bypassing of procedures to impose taxes and religious policies, angered members of the parliament. The situation threatened to spill over into an open civil war, lest a solution be found swiftly. Okay, curious. So you can avoid it. I'm pretty sure you can avoid it. What if not? And also, is there any possibility for any countries like, let's say, France, to intervene in such war, like to support one of the sides? That's genuinely curious. I'm really looking forward to find out. Okay, so let's continue. The Royal Society. We are almost at the end. Yes, sir, we are. So, the Royal Society. Again, there's no 3D model. It's beautiful. The Royal Society was founded in 1660 during the reign of King Charles II of England. Its orchestrators were leading members of the scientific community who were deeply committed to expanding the boundaries of scientific understanding and ensuring the advancement of science. The goal was to create a platform where scientists, scholars, and intellectuals could meet and exchange their research findings in order to foster ideas into tangible results. This is the building, by the way. Marvelous idea. Sounds expensive and bureaucratic. Absolutely not. Okay, that increases the monthly research progress, which is always not nice. It's it doesn't seem to be a lot. It's only 0.05, but still. Also monthly literacy, 0.01% monthly. It's still something. The cost is only 50 ducats. I believe that it's worth it, especially it's 17th century, so 50 ducats shouldn't be too much for us, but I don't know, I'm just guessing. The Royal Society is a scientific... Okay, we've read that already. And Pride and Prejudice, this is a classic novel, of course. Have I ever read it? I don't... Maybe I've heard about it, but I cannot remember anything. Pride and Prejudice is a classic novel written by Jane Austen, with a story revolving around the life and romantic pursuits of Elizabeth Bennet, one of 5 sisters from a modest country family. Central themes that are explored in the novel are social class, marriage, and the consequences of hasty judgments. Although not an instant hit, over time the novel's reputation grew, and it has since become one of the most beloved and enduring classics, and one of Jane Austen's most significant works. We can gain what Magnus Opus Pride and Prejudice is created in Winchester. Gains 3% artistic skill. The only Winchester I like is the, well, rifle. English gains 10 culture tradition. And that's it. Yeah, I hope to see a bit more of a late game content in regard to military. But it is what it is. It's still interesting. As we've seen at the very beginning, England has and Great Britain has over 200 specific events, specific flavor. So that seems to be quite a lot. Well, I hope that's gonna be really interesting. I would love to play as England as well. There's already a few countries I would love to try. I can imagine they are quite challenging as well. So they were as recommended country in Europa Universalis 4. Here in Europa Universalis 5 they are not. So yes, I assume they are quite challenging. But also they give you a few paths to follow: global domination or continental supremacy. That's something I would like to really try, because England never materialized the idea of conquering Europe. They were usually more focused on naval staff, and they weren't as proficient as they could to, well, conquer some European lands. So I think the Hundred Years' War stopped them from doing so. But okay, we will find out. That's it. That would be it regarding Tinto Flavour 39 about England and Great Britain. I hope you like it, and I can actually say that the next video will be directly from the game itself. So yeah, well, again, I'm asking you to tell me what you don't like. Why is that? What are the problems with my videos? I'm going to be really glad for doing so. So yeah, once again, thank you very much, and see you next time. See you in Europa Universalis 5. Goodbye.